being here for our Sunday Night Vision Mastery Call. I'm only the host tonight, and so without further ado, I'm going to bring our amazing leader, Mr. Jason L. Scott the first on. Mr. Scott, are you there? Okay. Maybe he's not.
I'm here, but I was looking for a long introduction, girl. I'm thinking she by the time she introduced her, I'll be ready to rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? You let me bring
I'm sorry. I'm so
on.
sorry. I thought, I was like, I don't want to be
Nah.
overextending my welcome.
It's all the same process all the time, so new people can always understand how the process goes. Now,
Okay.
let's go, girl. I'm going live right now. All right, let's go.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so I want to thank all of my amazing life changer people that are here in the building. Much of what we do is about our mindset. And what I love about our Sunday night call, our leader, Mr. Jason L. Scott the first, is simply amazing. He meets people in the space that we all are in. We all got different lifestyles, but he has such a way of bringing us information so we can be able to take our business to another level. He is a dad, a papa. He's a ex-paratrooper. Once a veteran, always a veteran, so to speak. He's known as the Millionaire Mentor. He doesn't just help our people, he has helped people all around the world. I remember a point in time when he was traveling to so many countries, and I do fly a lot, but it's like, where's he at now? Places I can't even name the countries that he's been to. But if you, once I bring him on, you may see behind him, he has awards and things that people have acknowledged for what he gives to not just us, but masses of people around the world. And so without further ado, I want to bring to you all Mr. Jason L. Scott the first. Mr. Scott, are you in the building?
Yes, young lady, absolutely. Online. I appreciate you, young lady, for always just being absolute gem when it comes to leadership, entrepreneurship, willing to help other people succeed, other people to understand the process. As you yourself are elevating and growing and mentoring people as well, you do such an amazing job. So I appreciate you for sharing that on the call tonight as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And what's going on, Miss Katrina? What's going on? What's going on, Agnes? And it was Peggy and Rebecca and Nikki. And I see other people online as well. I can't call everybody. But make sure you guys are posting into the chat group. Make sure you guys are you on Facebook. I have shared it live on Facebook, so you guys can actually make and get that link. Let me see if I can get the link and post it into the chat in case you guys have people that you want to just share it to your personal page. While it's on your page, you don't have to watch it from there, but I do want to make sure you have access to it from there. If you have access to it, you can actually share it to your personal page. The reason why, because Patricia will tell you a lot of times in doing so, the people who actually start to follow you, they will sometimes see what else you're into. They see who you're connected to, who you're speaking with. They see that you're in a training mode or different ways of learning. And sometimes that really gets people excited. Let me see something here. For some reason, I can't share this right here. Give me a second. Let me see if I can see the share link. If you see the share link, Patricia, can you grab that share link and actually post it into the chat? Because as I'm trying to get ready for the call, sometimes I can't get it quick enough because I'm talking, but I'm also trying to work through it at the same time. So if you can actually get that share link and share that to the group, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So anyway, guys, welcome to our Sunday Night Vision Mastery Call. And these calls that we do each and every Sunday night are designed to actually do what Patricia was saying a little while ago, meet people where they are, help people to understand that when it comes to leadership, when it comes to growing self, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, you really have to learn that this thing is not just about self, it's about also helping other people. And a lot of times to help people, you have to understand where people are. We had a great call today, right, Patricia? We had a call today. Let me see if I see Catherine as well. Do me a favor, Catherine and Patricia, do me a favor if you guys can. We had a call today. Tell me, Patricia, what did you like best about the calls? I'm going to ask Catherine the same thing. What did you like best about the call that we had today, that we had with the gentleman today? Patricia?
Okay, yes, Mr. Scott. So what I really liked most about the call is that you, as a leader, you allowed the flow to be in the space of Mr. Rowland, Aaron Rowland's space, because you do realize that he has a large audience. And sometimes, it's just more convenient to just say, you know what, we're going to accommodate the style of the person that is here, And I'm looking at Dr. Coward because I'm thinking, just using her and how it ties into Erin, sometimes as medical professionals, they may not have the time. They're serving so many different people. And so you have to move in the space of the person. And it also allows other people that may be watching us on social media right now outside of our group. We work within this space, and you do an amazing job of working right where we are. I am in the same location, just different part of this building of where I was earlier. I didn't have to be in an office space. Aaron was in the comfort of his home, just flowing, and it was just great energy. So that is what I love most. We didn't have to go and set up in $1 million office or find a building or any. It was right where we are to just show people you can do the same thing. So that's what I love most. Thanks for allowing me to
Well,
share.
I appreciate that as well. Thank you for sharing that as well. And of course, you, Catherine, I know you sent me a text after that, and you expressed how you felt about the call as well. So, Catherine, if you can, I want to know, what did you like best about the call? What did you like best, and what dynamics did you recognize and see that was happening during that call?
Yes. Hi, Coach Jason. Thanks for everything. Miss Patricia, thanks again also for everything. That live was so much fun. I was saying I've never been a part of a business where you can have so much fun while helping people. I was saying to Coach Jason, the vibe was just easygoing. It was fun. It was touching on points. It was funny. It didn't have to be scripted. So what I was saying also is that Coach Jason just went off of Aaron, like what was going on with him, what he's into, what he's about. So he's just asking questions and he was bringing out what was in Aaron. So it was very easy, not scripted. It was light. It was fun. It was so so much fun and it was funny. So after Coach Jason was saying it's nice to be able to just take it easy. It doesn't have to be scripted. It doesn't have to be so structured. Just pull out what's in the other person and go from there. So I had a really good time.
Well, young lady, I appreciate you for sharing that as well. Thank you for sharing that because that's going to lead into what we're going to be talking about tonight, is making sure people understand that when it comes to this, young lady, you did a great job on picking up on the conversation, how it was flowing, what I was flowing about. But the thing is this: the reason why I do that, because there's things I'm looking for and what I'm listening for when I'm asking questions or when I'm communicating. So today on this Vision Mastery, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how, when you're communicating with people, Rebecca, how you're able to recognize different things from different people so that you can have a better conversation. Because right now, guys, we got to add new people to the organization. We got to get more customers, and we want people to be able to correlate conversation, in such a way where you already know your end goal. But to get to your end goal is not just about what you want out the end goal, but what the person wants out the end goal. But the way you have to get there is listening and learning and how they're communicating. And I want to talk to you in this way. For years, I've been like a coach and a mentor to people, right? But also I've been studying so much. I've been in this space of learning about self and learning about mind and learning about modalities and different ways of how you can help with people in their psychology, right? And I understood this. And there's a practice that they call, the one practice they call is like, it's neuro-linguistic programming and things like that, but it's really talks to people about how you can work with people in understanding modalities and how people learn. I kind of mentioned it the other day when I was doing some training, right? And I want you to write this down. There's like 5 main things that people and how they understand their view of the world, how they may receive information. And there's a lot more, there's a lot other things. That's personality styles, colors, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about in another way, because I talk about colors and personalities and when people are slower and fast, all this other stuff. But today is really you understanding when you're talking to somebody and you're understanding in this way. People are visual, people are auditory, people just how they learn. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory, right? And visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. Now, today, as we're doing Vision Mastery, I never like to keep things just on a scratch the surface level. I like to talk in such a way to give you a way of in-depth growth in another way that prompts you to want to go deeper yourself, deeper on your own. I'm looking for partners and leaders who want to go deeper on their own. I'm not looking to just always be the leader, and as the leader, people are waiting for me to lead, but I'm looking to help build leadership in other people, for people to be able to do what I do, not what I do and the way I do it, we do it better than what I do, so that you can actually go ahead and take care of your family, take care of the people in the world. But when it talks to visual, we're talking about, it relates to what people see. When people have a visual like preference in how they're taking the information. For instance, myself, I'm a visual person. So a lot of times you see when I'm visual, I'll be talking fast, but I'm also looking up. All right. You'll see a lot of times when a person who's visual like myself, I may look up when I'm talking, looking to the right. And what's happening is, as I'm talking, I'm seeing pictures and things are happening. I'm visualizing things quickly. So I tend to look up. So people like myself, when you start to see that, when you're communicating with a person like myself, it'll help you to know that, okay, he's a visual. He's taking the information in a visual way. All right, now auditory, it relates to what people hear. Individuals have that preference. They kind of taking information better through like listening, and they have a keen sense of sound. And so that's why sometimes when you see how I may talk to you guys, and I talk like this, and I may go like this, and I may talk. That's because I understand that there's people who may be on the call that's auditory. So because they are, I'm making sure that I'm talking in different pitches and tones, because I'm doing it purposely. It's not just me doing it to do it, because I understand that there's people who learn that way. So therefore, when I'm communicating in that way as well. I talk fast to the fast people. I'm looking up and I'm talking in a way to where those who need to hear. Sometimes I'll slow down to speed up, because they also talk. They also listen to sound, but they're looking for a rhythm, and they even speak in a rhythm and how they do things. Kinesthetic people, it kind of relates through touch and physical sensations, and people who kind of have that, a lot of times they learn more through, let me just do it. You hear those people say, I'm a hands-on person. I got to do it. I just got to do it. So those type of people, I will engage them into the process. I don't always wait and just do a bunch of trainings and listening and teaching. I'll engage them in the process, because I'm paying attention that how they're learning is in a kinesthetic way, based upon how they're talking. They also can be people like myself. You may have modalities, and some modalities that can be an addition variation of another modality. Like, you may be visual, but you also have a submodality. So I say that because even on visual, I talk a lot with my hands, and my hands are all over the place, and I'm in that space as well, because you see how I'm talking like this, and I'm a kinesthetic person as well. When I feel it, so I get it. But also I know that those who are in that space, because that's how they feel, as I'm like this, they can literally feel. That's what sometimes I'll talk to people like, man, when you're saying, I can just feel. That's because I know that those people who are kinesthetic learners, and sometimes until you're talking to a person individually, you don't always know. But vision mastery is learning to envision what you envision. Envision yourself as being a better orator, being able to be a better communicator, being able to be a better listener. Being able to just pay attention to a way, so you understand that when you understand how people, their perception, how they listen, how they receive information, you can also help give them suggestions and things that can help them make a decision. You may be talking about products and things you have going on, but you're talking about it in such a way that relates to that person, that they will make the decision based off of how you give the information to them. See, when you understand that also people are olfactory. Now, olfactory and gustatory, that's basically talking about like relates to smell, and of course relates to taste. And sometimes those two can work together. But also, when I say that, because some people, and that's how many of us will know, you have learned certain things because you may have had a smell of something that you could smell. You could think about your grandfather, grandmother, a house, something way back that you was in a situation, and it could have been elementary, high, something that smelled a certain type of way back that caused you to have an emotional response based off of. And if you go into a room today and you smell it again, you can almost be like, it almost puts you into this mode that you go back. You may go back to visit your mother after you've been out on your own, and go walking into your room, and you smell something that takes you back, and your brain starts running back to you being a kid and when you were young. All these things, when you understand that people are in that space. And of course, gustatory, when it relates to taste, it's a less common thing. But the thing is this: we all can learn in that space. Because some people, same thing. Like you ever tasted something, you be like, oh my God, my mother made this. Oh, oh my God, my grandmother. Oh my, oh, they took me back from my grandmother because the emotional response of something in our space, which is why a lot of times we go out to eat together. People can lock in good times, good memories, all the things that happen based off of how they take in information. Now, understanding what you call it, what some people call it like VAKOG or VAKOG, like VAKOG, and it's just basically how you can remember all those VAKOG. It helps you to remember. Like we said, what did he say? He said, I say visual. Well, VAKOG, VAKOG. It helps you to remember so that when you start to talk to somebody in your mindset, I wanted to get to the point that as people are talking, you instantly start thinking about, are they visual? Are they auditory? Are they kinesthetic? Olfactory, gustatory? How are they processing what I'm saying? So now when I'm asking questions based on how they're listening, I can have conversation based off of that. So when Patricia and Catherine was saying when Catherine like, man, the way you do this, the way you said, because I'm watching him, I'm seeing how he's talking, but all of that's inside of me as well. So as he's saying things, and the funny thing, he says stories that I say to the day myself. But I'm like, man, I say those things. He's like, I went from this way to this way, and I'm like, man, I shouldn't be. I'm like, that's how I felt when I did it. So I was like really connecting for real. After he's having a conversation, I'm going back to all these things for real. But I'm listening, and as he's communicating, I'm communicating with him based off of how he's communicating. I'm paying attention to then of course I know he has an audience. And since he has thousands of people who follow him in his audience, they are following him based off of how he's able to connect with him. And if he's connecting with them based off of how he is, a lot of them are the same way as well. So I was talking to him, knowing that his people who follow him in that space need to see a reflection of him when we're communicating. So if they see a reflection of him when we're communicating, and that reflection, they may say, you know what, I'm going to purchase that too. I'm going to do that too. I'm going to support. Am I making sense, Rebecca? Am I making sense, Peggy? Am I making sense at all? I want you guys to understand, I want tonight's call because I need people to become really good at learning to communicate on another level. I want people to be at another space that when we are communicating, guys, when you're learning to pay attention, because our business is coaching, not only when you to getting customers, but getting people in business and staying in business. When you're learning to work with people where they are, understanding the different things that people are going through, based on what they're saying and how they're talking. Now, listen, when it comes to this stuff, right? When it comes to this, if a person's visual, a lot of times they'll say things like that. They'll say things like, because they see images and colors and shapes and things like that, visualization. A lot of times they'll say things like, you see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So when I talk to them a lot of times, when I hear how they're communicating, I too will say, you see what I'm saying? You see what I mean? Can you see that? You can see how that happening. They be like, yeah. Because they looking up in it. When I start saying, can you see it? A lot of times they look it up in the air. They're like, yeah. I can see that because normally when you're visual, we tend to look up. When they're auditory, and they listen for sounds and words and tones and rhythms. So therefore, when I'm speaking, I'll like, you hear what I'm saying? A lot of times, like one of my sons, he's always saying, you hear what I'm saying? Every time he talks to me, he'll say, you hear me? I'm like, yeah, I hear you. Because he'll say like all the time. Every time he says, you hear me? You hear me? Because he's an auditory auditory learner. And listen, so when he's talking, so when I talk to him, I'm like, yeah, I hear you. Of course, I hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So because that's how he is, and that's how when somebody's talking, they're speaking that way. So pay attention to their sounds and their words and the tones that you're speaking and the rhythm that you're speaking with them. And then, of course, when they're kinesthetic, a lot of time because they're feeling and they're talking through touch and emotions and physical sensations they're looking for. So when they say things like, because and they'll say it to say, can you feel me? You feel what I'm saying? Or they say, that feels good to me. Yeah, I like the way this makes me feel. So they are a feeling type person. So when you know where a person's at, meet them where they are. Stop always trying to, well, I'm the type of person where I just got no patience because I know. But you can't do business being that person for yourself. You want to have a business where you can connect with all people. So you got to get good and get better at it. Then, of course, when somebody's in that olfactory space, they may say there's something fishy about that. I don't know, just It's just fishy about that. So you know that even though they may learn other ways, when they say things like that, you be like, okay, I can tell he may be that type of person in that space. So even when they taste, they say this leaves a bad taste in my mouth. If you heard that, that's a person that also may be in that space. Now, understand this, guys. Most of the time, and when you're in the practice of this, most people use like visual, auditory, kinesthetic modalities when they're thinking or when they're communicating. So when you're watching them, when they're saying things, you don't just look to what you're going to say next just to be talking, but pay attention to how they're communicating, things they're saying, how they're looking up when they're talking and when they're looking around or if they're looking down. And I'll tell you what those things mean as well. But it's important that you learn to communicate, because we're in this space right now, guys, that as we build in relationships, people want to feel that you are authentic. And in your authenticity, you can't try to push who you are on them just because, well, I'm just going to be myself. And they're trying to be themselves as well. And when I would do talks with people, I like to ask a lot of questions. And I tell them, I said, listen, I'm asking questions because this is an interview process for you and me. We want to know if we can even be a fit long term, if we can even be a fit in how we're going to connect for the next several years in business. And like people get a person to get a job, most people don't recognize they may work that same job for 10 to 15. So that means you may be in the same space with people for 10, 20, 30 years. So when we entrepreneurs, like some people on this call, like Peggy, I've been in business with Peggy since 2013. So when we're in business, when we have business partners, guys, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be working with people for a lifetime. So it's important that you understand that when you're communicating with people, they have different styles of how they communicate. And because they do, this is just one of those, the basic trainings I want you to start to get better at. I want you to go deeper into it even after this call tonight, because I want you to get good at communicating with people, learning to listen better, and then learning how to. So now, like Catherine was saying, and how you make, because I'm listening and how they're talking, I'm just not looking to respond just to respond, but based on how they're communicating, I'm communicating in that space, not because I'm not being authentic, but because I am, because I truly understand. And my authenticity, I understand it because I study to show myself approved. So I study the things that some people think that's not important. So therefore, I have people that I've mentored that have been rocket scientists, people have worked at NASA. Literally, seriously, I'm talking with people from all walks of life, from the ones who are the most brainiest to the ones who they just don't got a brain and how they operate. Because I operated that way many times as well. Like you can't be the sharpest. I'm like, because it seems they operate the brain, but they do. But it's just how they may communicate. But I always respect what people are. And I want to make sure that you yourself, and again, the thing about this is this, in your communication, you will know, even in your respect, if you respect yourself or them enough not to even do business with them. But whatever level of value you can actually bring to a person, because even though you may not do business with a person, based on how you made them feel or connected with them, they may say you resonate with them in a certain way where I can introduce you to my mother, introduce you to this person. You know who you remind me of? I got to introduce you to. So I'm teaching you how not to just be focused in the moment with the person, but you talk the right way with the person. That person may lead you to somebody else. That person may take you to lead somebody else that can really blow your business out of the water. So as we start to wrap up this process of this conversation, and I want you to learn how you can match their language, because in matching their language, learning how people process, how they speak, and how they decide, which is why we're having this call and why I'm not speaking very fast, because I want to make sure that even though it's a lot, I know I'm going to repost it into the group. It's on my Facebook page. You can watch it again, but also go get some notes from it and then go back and chat GPT. There's a bunch of things you can do to go deeper. Watch YouTube chat. A lot of stuff I learned through YouTube and things like that years ago. And even before YouTube was really big, and I was ordering CDs and sets and listening to Tony Robbins and other people who were going deeper into this process. I was taking courses and investing in courses years ago so I can understand people, because our business is not just products. Our business is people. So to be able to communicate and connect with people, you have to understand what people are and how people process, how people speak and how they decide. And in their decision, they may decide if they want to purchase something from you. They want to be in partnership with you based on how you're communicating with them. So when you slow down to speed up so you can learn to communicate better, more authentically with people, you have an opportunity to pay attention to when somebody's talking and you can see that they're saying, can you see it? Can you talk and you know their visual based on how they communicate and they're looking up in the air. Can you see what I'm saying? Can you see how you and I, can you see how this can happen for yourself? Based on what you told me right here, imagine this. Because we in our imagination. When I promise you, when you say to them, imagine, they like this. They already went off someplace in their daggone head. As soon as I go, imagine this, they go, because they're already living in that space. You know what I'm saying? So we say, listen, can you see how this can work for you? Imagine what would your life look like if you had more freedom? Like we were talking to the gentleman earlier on the call right before this call. And as he was saying what he wanted and things like that, I'm like, imagine this, imagine if you, and I'm talking in such a way because he was saying what he does with his dad, other things like that, and as far as entrepreneurship. And I'm like, I was trying to paint pictures in such a way to where I can get him to imagine other things, a different life, and getting them to see how this can fit in to what he's already doing and what him and his dad is doing. Talking to the young lady who's an LPN and how since she's already in that space and how she's been taking care of people. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm watching her, as I'm talking, she's on the phone, she's here, and she's got the phone to her ear. And she's back over here, and she got the phone to her ear. And she may be in a space where it's a little challenging to hear, but I'm seeing because she's making sure she can hear. So I'm speaking in such a way, she got putting her eye to the camera and putting her ear to the camera. So I was speaking in such a way where it could be, she can imagine it visually, as also she can hear it. So, because I'm paying attention to, and I recognize that when you're auditory and they say, hear it, you yourself talking in a rhythm, they will talk in a rhythm. You start to repeat phrases. And I do the same thing because when the person's auditory, repeat the phrases, repeat things, the same thing. Sometimes I'll say the same things. I know some of you guys are like, why he saying the same thing? Because I ain't saying it for you. If that's the question you're asking, trust me, it ain't for you. You got me? It's for somebody else that I'm talking to who I know that they also are on the call. You got me? So when I'm communicating, and those who don't always understand it, you don't have to. Now you have a better understanding when I'm communicating. You yourself will start picking up on certain things as well, and you be like, "Oh, okay, I see. I see what you did right there, Mr. Scott. I see what you did there because I want you to be able to communicate in a way where you're paying attention." You know what I'm saying? So again, when you start talking to people's auditory. And you start saying, well, how does that sound to you? You know what I'm saying? And I say it aloud, I say, well, how does that sound? Is that fair enough? How does that sound to you? And they'll be like, that sounds pretty good. And that's the question I ask a lot of times. If that's what they are, how does that sound to you? Is that fair enough? Yeah, that's more than fair. That sounds really good to me. Do you hear what I mean? Do you hear what I'm now? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you hear what I mean? Because even though you may think you may see visually, you hear what I mean? Because they already telling you how they process. And of course, this is the thing about people like that. When they're in that space, you got to use testimonials and stories. You got to let them hear the results. You see how I said, hey, Patricia, hey, Catherine, get on the call. I want you guys to say, you know why? Because I recognize there's somebody else on the call. It may not resonate with you, but somebody else who needs to hear the story in order for them to understand it. They need to hear it. So therefore, I'm letting them hear. When I say, Rebecca, what's your testimony? Because somebody else on the call, they may have saw the visuals. They may have, but they need to hear it and they got to hear it sometimes multiple times from multiple people in order for them to say, you know what, I'm ready to make a move with that. But also, you got to pay attention to the tones and the words because they matter. Then, of course, when a person is kinesthetic, which is why sometimes like tonight I'm speaking a little bit slower. I'm a fast talker anyway. I'm a New Yorker. So what I consider slow is still a million miles a damn minute. I already get it. I already know that. So whatever. All right. But when I'm talking slower, I understand that you and a person's in a feeling situation. But when you're talking to them, you have to speak slower, more emotional, using like words like you feel them. Can you feel me? Can you grasp Can you grasp the situation? Can you grasp one? Can you, if you can reach your hand, can you literally touch that? Can you touch one? Can you, if you reach your hand, can you touch it? They put in your imagination, reach your hand out and touch that. They'd be like, and they really can rock around with you. Now the thing about people kinesthetic when they're talking, like me, visual, I'm talking, I look up. Kinesthetic people, especially you look up, and I'm right-handed. There's a lot that goes with this stuff, but I'm giving you some cheat codes, right? When a person like myself who is visual, I look up. And I'm as I'm looking up, I'm talking sometimes with my hands things, but I'm talking to a person who's auditory. They're looking left to right because they're reviewing and listening. They're hearing things differently, so they kind of going back and listen to tones, rhythms, words. So so when I'm talking to people, sometimes I can see them. They be looking back and forth, and I know that they're auditory people. So therefore, I let them tell stories, or I tell more stories to them in that space. But when they're kinesthetic as well, because I understand that they tend to, when they go into a feeling state, they tend to look down and to the right. So they kind of be like, and again, when you ever get into mode, you be like, you get to emotional state, you kind of breathe out, you be like, you kind of just head tilted to the down. Think about yourself. Think about when you get into that mode yourself. When you get into that kinesthetic mode, I want you to think about how you do. Now that I'm saying that, am I making sense, Rebecca? How many times you've been like, you're like, and you didn't pay attention, and you sit back, you done huffed out, you look down. Don't even know why, because in that moment you in a. Am I making sense, Katrina? And we all do. We're like. And we're looking down. Well, I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, now I'm off to. We get into this space when we in emotional wreck. You know what I'm saying? We go, what you doing? Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting. We get into this emotional state, and it's what we do, and I get it. You got me? And I understand it. So I want you to know that when you're communicating with people in that space, when you're communicating and you understand that you can get them to grasp, you grasp this for your life. And you use your hands. And sometimes when I'm talking to you guys and I be doing stuff and I put my hands out because I know people who are kinesthetic, when I'm doing things like this, they can literally feel that in their mindset. They can touch that. They can communicate with me in that space and let them experience the product and the emotion of it. That's why some of the people on the call, I said to Sean, make sure they get some product. You know why? Because I want them to have that experience. I want them to feel the experience. I want them to, while we was having a great time on the call and talking and we're joking a little bit, we laughing at the end of certain things, and they was in that mode, that kinesthetic mode. I said, and Sean's going to make sure he gets you the product. Because I want them to be able to get ahead and slide it in that mode, look forward to using the product, lock into an emotion, lock into that process, focus on comfort, focus on results, lifestyle, all this other stuff, a lifestyle feeling. I'm paying attention because all these things are necessary. And even though olfactory is rare when it comes to smell, but people who are driven like that, like I said, sometimes they'll tell you, they'll be like, you know what, I just love the smell of the cut grass. I can just smell the freshness of every morning. I just love being by the ocean because I just love the smell of it. And again, guys, it just takes you back to a moment and things like that and stuff. People can, it's like they connect to sense or atmosphere. They connect those things to emotions. And it's great. And again, there may be people who have a lot of candles around and things like that because that's in their space of how to kind of get them into a mode or mood. They use candles or oils and things like that because that's how they relate. That's part of how they like to, that's how they like to be present in the world. Then, of course, when it's gustatory and they talking about flavor or talking about taste of something, and you can say some things like, listen, because you better taste the difference right away. Even if you don't understand, even if they just because while you guys are eating, you can say, listen, when you're using that right there, you should be able to taste the difference right away. You can just taste it when you just reflect on how it's tasting to you. If you have to sink your teeth in that, can you taste that? They'd be like, yeah, man, I really can. And again, it works well when it comes to nutrition products. When we let them sample. and imagine the taste. We let them use the products. Zoe, I'm on the phone. I'll be with you in one moment, girl. I'm gonna walk you as soon as I'm done. I'm almost done, then I'm gonna walk you. I promise you, Zoe. I got so the last thing I wanted to just let you know, our whole process of using the modality and understanding these modalities with people is for you to learn to build rapport. When you're able to use the language that a person is communicating with you in, it helps you to be able to build rapport. And it helps, it makes it, you got to do it where it fits in naturally, where people feel instantly that they're understood. And they don't even understand why. They just feel like they're understood because of how you're communicating with them. And when you're doing it, guys, and you're doing it in action, it makes it smooth, subtle, but it becomes powerful in how you're communicating. When you're able to understand how people process and what they're doing, so you can better help them in that, saying, make a decision based off of where they are. Now, I want you to just write the word modality so you can go and do some more research on it yourself in the next few days before we get into leadership mastery, just for yourself. It may take you down your own road because, again, I don't always like to give people stuff. I can give you resources and stuff, but I want you to just discover things on your own. I'm looking to have a team of people that the way we think, because again, it may take a longer period of time for people to build out, but because you build the people build the business. Write that down. My job right now is to build the people. I build the people. I don't care about what's happening fast, who's doing what fast. Yeah, it's up and down fast. Things can happen. Just like when people say, whoa, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Well, the smaller they are, the farther they roll too. So there's always a flip side to something that somebody's saying in the process. You got me? So since I understand there's a flip side in this process as well, I want you to understand and learn that in how you do stuff, there's a flip side. So always get better at learning to communicate. So while other people are moving fast and things are happening, you're, oh my God, Flip side of moving fast sometimes is they're not learning. So they just caught up in the hype. And the hype, people can get in. I learned a long time ago from a mentor, you can put 1,000 people in fast off a hype. But after the hype goes away, people don't even know how they got in. But you will know. You will remember. You will know because you will. And I want you to always, if you have these notebooks, date and time, put them on the outside the notebook so you can always go back. Put on your calendar calls and trainings that you did, so you better go back in your calendar and say, okay, I did it. Especially because sometimes after calls, you start to see growth spurts. And actually growth spurts, sometimes you may get out, you be like, what happened that I had that growth spurt? Look back into the week that you were doing certain trainings and calls and say, oh, that's when I was studying, because I do it certain times. I can look at my calendar, I can see I was listening to certain audios. So I go back to that audio, I'll go back to that right there. I'll get back into that mode myself. So I can get back into the space, and because in our business, we have to build this thing several times over. It's like all business, like McDonald's. When you have McDonald's, the people that's at your local McDonald's probably not the same people that was there 10 years ago when you was going back and forth there, even 5 years ago, sometimes even a year ago. They got a whole, because they still a business, but they have people that's coming and going. In our business, we're gonna have some that's gonna still be there, but over time, people are coming and going. And as people are coming and going, when you know how you were able to get things going and how to maintain people, because you're learning another psychology, learning another psychological way of understanding people, learning to understand that these modalities can help you determine, the next step for a person based upon you can reveal like natural prefaces, processing information, all the things that they're doing. So it's important. Matter of fact, let me give you, like when you're talking, I'm gonna give you, there's a bunch of different things I can give you, but let me give you this. Let me give you like one thing for each one. Let's say if you're talking to somebody, you want to kind of know if a person processes this way, then we're gonna be wrapping it up. Let's say if you say so, okay, but how do I know? What can I say to even find out how a person processes? Because sometimes you wait for certain things, but they don't say. Sometimes you have to go off of there's other personality styles and things I look for cues. But if you want to know how they may process the information, you can say, let's say for somebody who's visual, you can say something like, when you remember things, do you see pictures in your mind? Or you ask them, like, do you prefer like reading instructions or watching? a demonstration of something. Like me myself, that's what I like to. I like to read or watch something. I like to watch YouTube videos. I like to watch a demonstration. I'm a visual person. Or you can ask a question like, "Listen, how important are visual details to you when you're learning something new?" And some people may say, "Not really. I'm more of a. I'm more of a." But if you just remember one of those, even if it's just saying, "Listen, when you remember things, do you see pictures in your mind?" And they a lot of times they'll look up, they go, yeah, because normally they start imagining like right there, and you'll know right then. If they're more of an auditory person, you can ask a question like, listen, do you find it easier to remember like what you hear rather than what you see? And they might go, yeah, well, yeah, because I do like to. Or you can ask like, do you enjoy listening to music or podcasts while you're working? Because they're that type of person. Like some people say, I listen to podcasts. Like me myself, I can't listen to that. I gotta be stable and listening to it. Because if I'm doing stuff, I'm missing it, then I have to keep stopping and trying to. But some people, they're auditory, they can be doing something else and they're listening. They can listen to stuff while they're working because that's how they process stuff. And you can ask like, are verbal instructions more helpful than written ones? Because again, you're trying to see how they process. But the easiest thing, just remember one of them. Do you find it easy to remember like what you hear rather than what you see? And they'll go, no, I like to see all of yeah, it's easier. So you know if that's the person, you could feel me, you feel what I'm saying? If they're visual, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And you make sure you understand it. They're more kinesthetic. Do you like you can ask questions like, do you learn best by like doing or engaging? Like on hands-on, you like more hands-on stuff? And even though I'm a person with visual, I'm visual, but I'm kinesthetic. And I like to my submodality is that I'm like the finer tune of that is my visual is I gotta be hands-on. Let me just do it. Almost every time I do a presentation like when I first did a presentation for many of you guys, as soon as I saw it, I just did it right then. I didn't even study it first. I didn't look at it. Matter of fact, the last presentation we did, by the time a lady put it together and did some stuff. I got it from Jason. And the lady I'm like, I did this. I did it while I was on with you guys. I didn't look at it before. I didn't study it before. I already know it don't work for me like that. It don't. I just do it on the fly, Rebecca, because I know once I see it, I can look at it and I'll know what to talk about. I can read a few things, but I'm not going to try to, because if I start trying to prep, now I'm going to be reading and I don't want to do that. So I just know off the picture, because I'm a visual person, off the picture, I can go into my imagination. I already know what I can talk about that. Without me having to read stuff, the picture will let me just go into a mode. So I want to just give you guys this basic process of paying attention to this stuff. Now, and let me I almost forgot. Let's say if it's the last thing. Let's say if it's like olfactory, gustatory modalities. Those two like not as much, but you can ask like, do certain smells or tastes do they make you have like strong emotions or like strong memories? They'll be like, yeah, because sometimes I can think back to my grandmother, and someone's right now in the call came. And again, it just may be a sub thing that they do, or you can think back to a time when they was eating someplace, and you can ask them like, how sensitive are you to like different scents and flavors and things like that? And some people they can eat something, they can be like, there's some oregano. No, there's saffron, and they can just taste it. How I don't know, because I like to eat, but I don't process information that way. But some people are that way. Am I making sense? Thanks a lot, Sean. I appreciate that right there. Thank you so much right there. Well, guys, listen, I want to just share those things, those steps with you. I want you to go deeper yourself. I want you to really go deeper as you start to learn more about yourself, because I want us to all be great at communication. And again, I know a lot of leaders not going to discuss this the way we're discussing it here. I'm that type of leader. I just learned that I process it based on my own experiences. And my experiences, that's how I had to learn. I became successful working with all these different countries and all this other stuff, working with all these people, not speaking the language, not understanding the language. Because again, if I don't know what they're saying, I can't hear the words. So I kind of would ask certain questions. Somebody's saying things based upon how they're responding back I kind of know at that point, I'm like, okay, I know how this person processes. So I will be connecting to that person in a whole nother world, in a whole nother country, based off of how I'm paying attention to how we connect. And after that, when I leave, they always be like, oh my God, we're just so great. You owe it. But every person had a different personality style, but also how they process information. So I was giving them information, how they process to help them become better and bigger leaders in their countries. And that's how I was able to have a leader who would have thousands of people in countries. And on this call, looking to have leaders who have thousands of people and customers in your businesses so that you can have amazing results for yourself and your family. As I wrap up the call, guys, do I have any leader, any person who have any comment, statement, anything you want to share about tonight's call? Feel free to jump out there and just share.
Hi, Coach Jason.
Yes, young lady.
Yeah, hi everyone. I just want to say, thank you so much for your leadership. It's so refreshing. I've never had any coaching, any leadership like this, and I really appreciate your abundance of wealth, knowledge, coaching, mentorship, and the genuineness. It's refreshing. So I just want to say thank you.
Well, I appreciate you as well, and thank you so much. Well, like I said, I know like, you're a coach as well. You're like a coach in real life. You know what I'm saying? You coach people. So a lot of times coaches, they can respect it on another level, but also because you're already dealing with people. But also that's why I said go deeper on your own for yourself. Go deeper tonight and start just chatting. I mean, chatting is new, so I wasn't always going there. I'll be watching YouTube videos, certain things. I'll Google certain things that'll pop up, and I see what shows up. I write notes. I got notebooks about a bunch of stuff, man. Let me see. What I got like a lot of my notebooks be torn up and ripped up because I've been went through them so many times, writing things down, learning stuff, taking notes on stuff, man. And some of the stuff was like years and years and years ago or something, man. This right here got like emotional state and focus and meaning and relationships and strategic action. This is like stuff from like years ago and stuff. I'm saying, and how I'm coaching people and helping them to be able to overcome like self-imposed limitations and asking. I'm looking at all these things that I've been able to get and 5 pillars of this and 7 stages of this, and because I've always been a person, I want to get so I can sit back and go, You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just rest on my laurels. I want to just be like, because again, for me, I come from the Bronx, Katrina. My normal communication for people like this, yeah, I mean, word up, son. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we know what we're talking about. We're having a whole conversation. Like right now, Rebecca, like, huh? I'm like, a whole conversation. Be like, yeah, I mean, word up, son. You feel me? You feel me, son? We be like, yeah. Or we like, yo, say word. Ah, word. No, everybody know what the hell y'all talking about. But we having a whole conversation and just saying word, say word. Ah. Yo, my man said, yo. So I'm trying to tell you, to have more than that, I had to become more than that. I had to communicate. I had to learn to speak on articulate tones in a way so I can be, because I'm dealing great with the people in my community, but I want to be able to reach other people outside my community. All right. I'm saying exactly right. Sean, everybody's saying, yo, son, fam, your son. Yeah, exactly. That's the New York thing. Exactly right. So, or like when I talk to, let me see, she on the call right now. Like Dr. Coy, would you say all the time out in Louisiana? That's right, baby. Hey, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's how they communicate. That word is something they say all the time. When you go to New Orleans, they be like, hey, baby. And they be all smooth with it. Even when you talk to Dr. Card now, she be like, yeah, baby, yeah. You guys catch her on her TikToks while she going live. And she be like, yeah, baby. She like the smoothest, chillest, loungingest, chill, laid back. Hey, baby. You know what I'm saying? Something, but that's what they do. But I'm saying, but the thing is, guys, learning where people are, how to communicate is really important. Anybody's got any last minute things they want to share before we're done?
Hey, Mr. Well,
Go ahead.
hey, I just want to. Well, go ahead.
No, so you
trying
to Rebecca.
Okay. What I loved, what you said tonight. Okay, so a lot of times people, they get involved or get into a business with the hype. And then when the quiet stops, or when the quiet happens and the hype stops, they don't know what to do. That is so real. And so I've seen it, I've been caught up in it. And so the trainings that you do are just real. And I have so many nuggets and I'll be connecting with you because we need to meet. But it's just real stuff. And it's like, I think sometimes people just get caught up in the goal and the dream of what they want and where they want to go, that when the quiet happens, they don't really know what to do. And that's the difference with this community. You're helping us figure out what to do. Some of us might have signed up in the hype. Yeah, we signed up, we're excited, we know what we want to go for it. That's what drives you, right? But your teachings are authentic, real, and it's teachings that I have done myself within my career, but now I'm seeing, wow, all I have to do is push them over here and I'm doing the same thing. So tonight was a big wow. So thank you so much. I so appreciate it.
Yes, young lady, I appreciate you as well. And you and I have that conversation as well. Like I said, you've been in leadership for years, for decades yourself. And a lot of things, sometimes we know certain things and we forget that we transfer that knowledge. Again, because our business is people. If you just understand, no matter what a person does, I ask certain questions because I need to know. I listen for their self-talk. How they communicate with me helps me understand how they communicate with themselves. When they say certain things about themselves, I'm listening for it. And then when I'm hearing certain things, I'll know their self-talk. And a lot of us, we have the same self, like you yourself as a leader, you have a certain type of self-talk. But then when it comes to transferring information, we think that we got to stop and learn a whole new thing. No, it's the same thing over here. Just have the same conversations. And they say, oh, and by the way, because of your job, if you learn the thing at your job and your job say, hey guys, from here on out, we got to start talking to people about this right here as well. We just add, every time the job adds something new to it, you start talking about it. If the job adds something new, it's just new. You don't be like, wait a minute, I can't do this because I'm just used to. No, you just add it on and you keep it moving. You know what I mean? So when you understand that, you know that when you learn things about products, you just throw it in there. They add a whole new SKU or something at your job, you just learn the SKU and you keep it moving. That's it. So you got to know it. The same thing here. Stop overthinking, overanalyzing. What if the person asks me a question? You don't know everything at your job either. You only know what you know at your job. Somebody asks you a question outside your job. So hold on a second. Let me get Jeff. Hey Jeff, this person got a question. Can you answer the question? That's it. You know you got the answer and somebody else there. You don't worry about, I gotta quit. I gotta quit now because I'm not worthy. No, the hell are you talking about? You just refer it to the person who's already in that space. And we do the same thing here. And when you get that, you stop overanalyzing and just go into the world doing what you already do. People need us. People need the right community. They need people who are about change. And the world is trying to change people to the worst versions of themselves. It just is. A lot of things happening. People can create new accounts because life is so hard on them. They want to create an account just so they can just say the worst versions of themselves because they don't got nothing else to look forward to. But here, if a person has something to look forward to, they can stop all that stuff, looking for something to keep being hateful in and all this other stuff, and be in a positive, growing organization where we can actually shape and shift the lives together. So thank you so much for that, young lady. Anybody else got any last minute things they want to share before we're done?
Mr. Scott.
Yes, ma'am. What's going on, lady? Miss Saunders?
To thank you so much for bringing so much back to our remembrance, because I remember you said that you're a visual person. And I remember when I was taking school for medical transcription, I was visual as well. So how we learned through visual pictures helped me. We'd hear it, we'd see the picture, then we could speak it. So it's all about retraining some of the things that we already have learned. Mm-hmm. And even when I think you did a welcome call for me with one of the new members, and it's the quality of the questions that we ask that will determine the answers. And you asked good quality questions. We went through that. I listened to you, and you could tell that you were actively listening to him because you were repeating back to him what he said to you. And I think active listening is very key in what we do as being an entrepreneur. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. We all are, but I tell you what, you bring so much power to the hour that we spend with you. And even if we go over, it's almost like, no more? So thank you so much, Mr. Scott. Have a great evening. I yield the mic back to you.
Thank you so much, young lady. I appreciate you as well. Thank you for always sharing and being a wealth of wisdom and knowledge yourself, young lady. And I'm glad to see you back. I mean, you're spriteful. A few days ago, you was down and out, but today you spriteful. You know what I'm saying? Spunky tail and everything else today, young lady. So congratulations on that comeback. You said Miss Saunders on her comeback, y'all. She said my girl came back on y'all. Y'all you thought you were gonna take it out? That's what you thought? Yeah, all right. You didn't know that was Miss Saunders. Okay, welcome to Miss Saunders. All right, young lady, listen, I appreciate everybody who logged on to the call. I love each and every one of you guys. I promise you I do, because my mother taught me to. Always remember, giving the sum total of all your decisions. You cannot change who you are, but giving new life, new vision, new unity, you can change who you become. So with that today, not tomorrow or next week, but like right now, let's all just become. You guys have a great and a powerful new you. Good night, everybody. I'll mute your mic to say good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Have a great
Good night. Thank you.